Hi, my name is Claudia and I work for the Region of Waterloo Libraries, and today we're going to be making a knit coaster using our hobby knitting kit that you can check out from our Region of Waterloo Library branches. So in our hobby kits that you can get from the Region of Waterloo Libraries, it has everything that you would need to start a hobby as a beginner, and there's a whole bunch that you can find online. So this one includes some straight knitting needles, some circular knitting needles, some stitch holders, a variety of items like scissors and needles that you might need for threading, 3 books about beginning to knit. So the materials you'll need to make our pumpkin coaster are size 4 black yarn acrylic, size 4 orange yarn acrylic, a tapestry needle, size US 4 straight knitting needles, and our How to Knit for Beginners book. Casting on pages 44 to 46. So to cast on your stitch here, you're going to be taking the end of your yarn and laying it in your palm, which will be face up. Then you're going to take your thumb and hold onto the string, wrap your string around so that it creates an X in your palm, but at the back of your hand, the string should be straight. Then hold that string with your thumb and pick up your straight needle. And you're going to be taking your straight needle and passing the front piece of yarn over the back piece of yarn so that it creates kind of like a knot. Then pull your hand out, pull on both strings at the same time, and then you're going to be pulling the string that's still attached to the yarn, and it's going to create a long tail cast on. Next, to cast on your other stitches, you're going to take your string again, flat in the palm of your hand, put your thumb over top of that string, and push your string over top of your thumb so that it makes a loop. Then take your needle and put it underneath your thumb, hold onto the string using your hand, and pull. And you'll have created your first stitch. So you can see it again, and you're going to be doing that 25 times for this pattern. You should have 25 stitches cast on at the end, so you can count and make sure you have 25. The knit stitch, pages 56 and 57. So to do a knit stitch, you're going to hold your needle with the string on it in your left hand and the other needle in your right hand. You're going to take your right hand needle and put it under the first stitch, and so it should pass through the bottom of the stitch there, kind of creating an X using your needles. And then you're going to take your string, wrap it around the top of your knitting needle, and hold onto that string with your hand. Pull your needle backwards and push the tip up and through, so you should be able to see that string on the front of the needle there. Then you're going to slide all of your stitches up, and you're going to take that first stitch that you just knit off of your knitting needle. And then you're going to do the same thing again. So again, push your needle through, wrap it around, pull it out and pull it up, and then you're going to just slide that stitch off, and that's how you do your knit stitch. So this is what your work should look like after one row is done. So you should kind of see some bumps on the bottom there. And to start at the next row, you're just going to do the exact same thing again. So you're going to keep knitting the same way you were. Take your needle, put it underneath your top stitch, push it up and off of your needle, and you're just going to keep doing that all the way through. This is what your work should look like after 2 rows, so you can see there's stitches on both sides of your work now. Joining in a new yarn, pages 72 and 73. To join in a new yarn of a different color, you're pretty much just going to be knitting the same way that you were beforehand, but just using the new string instead of the orange string. So you're going to be taking your black string and you're going to just do a normal stitch. So you're going to hold it with your thumb and wrap the string around the top of your needle, just the same way as you were, and then hold onto both the orange string and the black string. Push your stitch off, so now you'll have created a stitch with a black string, And you're going to take that orange string that we had before and kind of measure it using with the other end of the black string. And then you're just going to be tying a knot so that your two strings don't fall off. So using the end of the black one and the working string of the orange one, just tie a normal knot. And then once you've tied your knot, you can make sure that the strings are relatively long because we're going to sew them in afterwards. And then you're going to just be taking your orange string and you're just going to cut it. So you want it to be about the same size as the black end and cut off the string there. And then you can just continue working on your knitting row as you were before, just using the black yarn instead of the orange yarn. This is what your work should look like in the front and in the back after you've done your first row in the black. Casting off pages 78 and 79. So when you get to your last row, you're going to be casting off by knitting your first 2 stitches normally. So just as you usually would, you're going to knit only the first 2 stitches there. Then you're going to take your back stitch and pick it up with your working needle, and you're going to push it over top of your front stitch, and that's going to cast it off. So you're just going to be doing that all the way down. Take your back stitch, pull it up and over off of the string. When you get to the end of your row, you're going to do your last 2 stitches just like normal. So again, just taking your back string and pushing it over top of your front string to cast off. And then when you have only 1 string left, you're gonna wanna pull it out a little bit to create a bit of a gap, and then take your needle off of that or leave it in and snip your end there. And then you're just gonna push the end that you cut off through the hole that you've made with your needle. To sew in our ends, we're going to be taking our tapestry needle and we're going to be pushing our yarn that we want sewn in through the hole in the bottom of the tapestry needle. And then you're pretty much just sewing like normal. So you're taking about 3 stitches up from your needle or from your coaster and just pushing your needle through them. You probably want it to be diagonal because then it's a little bit harder to see, and pulling that through, and then just make sure you've loosened out the ends so that it won't slip out, and cut your string there. And this is the final knit coaster product.